Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show with me, Kavita Thaplayal, and let's talk about cybersecurity scams, AI-based cybercrimes. That's cybercrime, and that too targeting grandparents. Lately, there has been an increase in cybercrime cases against grandparents, and fresh cases have been reported wherein senior citizens have lost money over a WhatsApp call. The fraudster uses a deep fake voice technique to do this fraud. Now, let's understand all of this, and how can you protect your grandparents from these kind of particular online frauds. I have Ritesh Bhatia, cybercrime investigator and cybersecurity consultant with me. Ritesh, good evening and welcome to the show. So there is this a new kind of AI deep fake scam which is typically targeting senior citizens. Can you just explain us the recent incident that's happened?
Thanks, Kavita, for having me on the show. And once again, thank you for raising this kind of awareness. As I always say, it's the media that has created the utmost awareness in cybercrimes. So thanks once again for that. So Kavita, here, what is happening recently? What happened was an episode that happened in Kerala with a particular person. He got a call from his former colleague where they used to work together. Now these are retired senior citizens, and he got a call from his ex-colleague who called up, and it was like a audio call over WhatsApp where he said that how have you been and everything, all those kind of things and all. And then later he called back. He said, listen, I'm at the airport and my sister-in-law is stuck and has an emergency and some operation needs to be done. If you can just transfer 40,000 rupees. Now this man, he said, okay, he got a little alerted and he said, let me verify if this is true. And so he told him, do a video call. He did the video call, and on the video call, he could see his ex-colleague who were working in the same company. And then the ex-colleague over the video call was telling him, if you could transfer this 40,000 rupees as such. And so this guy then believed in it. And obviously, because the voice is the same, the face is the same. So he just made a transfer. And later on, it turned out to be a fraud. Now, viewers would be wondering, how is this particularly thing possible? So now we are in the era of deep fakes. So the voice was cloned, even the entire face of that particular person was cloned as such. So what, the someone who was sitting over there was not even a look alike of somebody. In fact, it was a computer, AI generated video and an AI generated voice. And similar such scams, Kavita, have been happening world across. It actually happened in China. It's happened in Canada, and the chances are that this is just going to increase. Not chances. In fact, I would say yes, it's going to increase like anything, and that's the reason. As of now, the only solution is awareness. Kavita.
Ritesh, whenever we meet, we are just discussing about something new, okay? And a new type of scam, a new type of scam or a fraud or a latest case. Now, talking about the specific AI scam, we did not see much coming up from the data protection bill also regarding AI and the kind of online frauds. At least what was expected was not given in this bill. Now, having said that, tell us something. What is the reason behind senior citizens being targeted? Because it's just we are not talking about only one scam that's targeted to senior citizens. There are a lot of variety of online scams which are particularly targeting senior citizens. What's the reason behind that?
Yes. So firstly, let's understand one thing. Let me give you an example of recently there was a spike in something called as the grandparent scams. So what is this grandparent scam basically? So here, so this is a very old scam wherein somebody would call up the grandfather, say, listen, your grandchild is met with an accident or is arrested or something like that, and then they would say, please transfer money so they could help them as such. And at that point of time, they couldn't make their grandparents, make the grandchild speak to the grandparent, because this is, I'm talking about around about 8 years back, 10 years back. But the same grandparent scam has come up in its new avatar, which is the AI based avatar. So here what is happening, it's actually the grandchild calling the dada or the nana, saying that, listen, I met with an accident and I have been arrested, I need certain money. The caller ID, the phone number is also spoofed, because that's pretty easy for scamsters to do it. The number is also spoofed, the voice is spoofed, the video is spoofed. And if you say, are we talking about some Black Mirror episode? No, this is actually happening. Even if you go and Google, like, grandparent scams, AI, you will see a whole lot of them right now, like, happening in Australia, in Canada, in US. So we are not far behind now. So here, when the grandfather hears, he definitely gets emotional, he or she, and at that point of time, you only and only trust. And now you trust because you hear the voice of the child, you hear the voice, you see the video of the child. So there is no reason for you, like, not to believe that this is not your child, and that's the reason you transfer. So number one, why they fall victims? They are not very well aware about the latest in cyber threats, because every day there's so much new, and it's difficult for them to catch up as such. I think we, the younger generation, we've been very irresponsible, because what we have done, we've just given them the gadgets and we've not trained them. We don't make them aware on a daily basis. Maybe we get irritated. Maybe we say, oh, forget it, you need not know. But I think this is something that they need to hear. They need to talk more than they need to do us. And secondly, it is their trusting nature. Our parents, grandparents come from an era where trust was the key thing. That time there was nothing like cyber. But on cyber, it's exactly the opposite thing, that there is nothing like trust. Kavita.
So, Ritesh, just to elaborate on the point where you also said that, certain kind of hand-holding is needed for grandparents or for senior citizen. How exactly can one do it? Because, see, that's the kind of age we are talking about where it's very difficult for them to learn something new, How, according to you, can grandkids or maybe, to their parents, how can one handhold and teach them different aspect of online security, basic things like how to even surf the net? I think, not clicking on the link that looks very attractive and appealing to you. How can you do that?
Oh, well, I think, ET Now can do it very well, because you guys have done so many shows about it. You can actually create a 1 hour
I
or a
get
2 hour
to you.
session on it. You can create a
Right.
2 hour, like, you can compile all your videos and you can just put them up. That itself will be good. There is nothing that you people have
Idea.
not left.
Ritesh, that's a
Everything is
brilliant idea.
inside.
I think I'm going to work
Yes.
on this and I'm going to take my
Yes.
producer's help also for this.
Absolutely. Just
Thank
just
you.
compile the video, categorize them, that
Yeah.
this is cooking, this is AI based frauds, and that's more than enough. You have done shows
Yeah,
in like
yeah,
Hindi and English
yeah.
both, so that's more than enough. But secondly, I think there's a big responsibility on the kids and the grandkids. Of course, even I feel
Right.
guilty about, because even when my father asks certain things, I get irritated as such. But then, if we have given them the device, it is our responsibility now to be with them, to tell them, and not get irritated. Of course, this thing applies to me also.
All right. Going ahead, the last question to you. A lot of things are expected from the data protection bill, but then on your lines of expectation, 1 to 10, where would you rate this bill? All the questions and all the concerns that were raised, are they all answered and addressed?
I don't think so. I would rate it only 5. Ideally, we as the largest consumer base in the world, the largest user base, I would say, of internet and of generating data, I expected a much more strong bill, which was there like somewhere where, when Justice Sri Krishna came out with it. This looks to be a very, very watered down one, giving a lot of power to the government also, and everything has left that as and when it will be decided. So we are already quite late with the data bill. Nevertheless, it's a great thing. At least we have come with it, and I hope the ministry catches up and adds a lot many things, especially like look at AI things. How would you, like, there is no mention about the new age technologies, about the emerging technologies which are collecting so much of data, especially in this era of artificial intelligence, blockchain, and Internet of Things, IoT. A lot much data is being collected. So then what about that? So I think those provisions need to be added immediately, is what I feel.
All right, that will be all. Thank you so much, Ritesh, for being a part of this show. And let's have you again next week on the show, and let's talk about more aspects of cybersecurity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
All right, so we move on to a short break, and post that, let's talk about creating digital assets. Now, a lot has been done on this particular topic. You know, we know cryptos, we know NFTs, we know monetizing through your websites or social media handles. But then, what all actually goes into monetizing all your digital assets? How can you, if you're a content creator, which apparently a lot of them are these days, how can you actually create a different line of investments and earnings for yourself? We'll get to know all of this after this break.